Hey guys, welcome to my channel. As you see in the thumbnail, what if Issei becomes a Emperor of Darkness Part 1. Before we start, please do support for more awesome content and subscribe my channel and like and also share this video to your friends. Let's start the video. A boy, about 17 years old, with brown hair and chocolate brown eyes was walking home with a huge smile on his face and a small group of people around him. His name was Issei, of course, host of Welsh Dragon Diedrich, aka the Red Dragon Emperor or the Heavenly Dragon of Domination. They were walking home after a day of having lots fun together. The high school year just ended. Akeno, Rias and Sona with her queen Tsubaki graduated from high school just yesterday, while Issei, Asia, Zenobia, Irina and Kiba will be third-year students after the summer break. The graduates are planning to go to college next year that is near Kutown. Issei had a great idea to celebrate their graduation together for a whole day, and much to everyone's joy, Sona and Tsubaki agreed to join them for the day along with her peerage. They had an extremely fun day at an amusement park and later at a beach, much to Issei's and Saji's excitement. Irina wasn't able to come with them as she was sent to heaven by Michael himself for the whole summer. They were able to watch some bouncy action as the girls played volleyball. When it was their turn to play, they couldn't focus on the ball and were hit a couple of times in their faces, or even worse, below their waist. It was quite dark already when Issei, his ladies and buddies reached the house. Kiba and Saji tagged along to spend some more time together. Issei didn't mind them coming as they were his best friends and brothers in arms. They entered the house and turned on the lights, while everyone went to the living room. Asia and Akeno went to the kitchen to prepare some snacks and drinks. After a couple of minutes, everyone was gathered in the living room and enjoyed each other's company. But suddenly everyone's attention was gathered by a red magic circle with grimoire ruins glowing in the middle of the room. Seconds later, 4 people emerged from it. 3 of them were tall, but one of them wore a formal robe and shoulder platings. His eyes were baby blue and shoulder-length crimson hair like Rias, while the other was muscular and had purple eyes and jet black hair and wore simple clothes. The muscular man held a box full of what looked like expensive bottles of alcohol. The other 2 were a man and a girl that looked a lot alike. The beautiful young girl had dark blue eyes with long blonde hair tied into twin tails with large, drill-like curls and pink ribbons that kept them in place. The front of her hair had several bangs hanging over her forehead. She wore a beautiful pink dress and had a small box too, but from the smell, Issei could tell that she had a delicious pie ready to be eaten. Lastly, a tall and handsome young man in his early 20s with short blonde hair and dark blue eyes was next to the girl. He had an arrogant smirk, but not too arrogant after Issei's beating. Yo Saraorg, Zex, Ravel and Fried Chicken greeted them Issei with a toothy grin. Everyone chuckled at Rise's misfortune as he growled from annoyance. Why hello there, brother-in-law, greeted him back the crimson-haired man who was Sirex. Both Issei and Rias gained a tint of red on their faces from slight embarrassment, while the rest of the girls had jealous looks. To make the situation worse for the duo, the muscular man with the box who was Saraorg started laughing at their embarrassed reactions. If you're gonna laugh any longer, I'm gonna beat you again like 2 weeks ago, warned Issei. I wouldn't mind us fighting again, replied Saraorg as he put the box on the ground next to his feet but never broke the fierce eye contact with the Red Dragon Emperor. The rating game between Saraorg Bale and Rias Grimoire was 2 weeks ago, and Issei came victorious at the last moment after getting knocked out by Saraorg and gaining his newest and strongest form yet, called Cardinal Crimson Promotion. Issei was promoted to the middle-class devil after the rating game, and Saraorg's mother woke up from her long-lasting coma. Now, we didn't come here to fight, said Sirex calmly with a kind smile. Both titans broke their fierce glare and shook hands with prideful smirks. So what business do we have with you, after all? It's quite late, asked Issei politely this time. Well, we came here to celebrate 3 occasions tonight, said Sirex. And those are, asked Rias. Issei's promotion, answered Ravel shyly with a blush. Your graduation, Rias. The next one who spoke was Sirex. Your victory of the rating game. The last one was Saraorg that spoke. I understand Rias's graduation, but we already celebrated the victory of the rating game and my promotion, said Issei with a confused expression. Well, I didn't participate in the last 2 celebrations because, as you heard, my mother finally woke up from her coma, so I spent as much time with her as I could, said Saraorg. And I had some business to attend to with my family, said Ravel. Come on Issei, I don't think it will be harmful to re-celebrate your promotion and our victory again, right? Plus they already came here with some nice presents, said Akeno with a seductive voice as she hugged him from behind. Why yeah, I think so too. I mean, my parents will return only after tomorrow, so let's celebrate, said Issei with a strong blush as he felt Akeno's breasts being pressed against his back. Everyone cheered, and soon enough Saraorg took out a couple of bottles from the box that he brought while Akeno went to bring some glasses. They somehow managed to make Issei drink some of the alcohol even if he wasn't of age. But Saji drank with no problem as if it wasn't his first time, even though he was drunk after only a couple of glasses. But Ravel and Kiba didn't drink any as they didn't want to. After 2 hours of drinking and sharing some hilarious stories while drunk and funny moments of Rossweiss who passed out not too long after, Sirex had to go as he had business in the morning to attend to.
Of course, he didn't leave by himself. Grafia helped him. No, dragged him by his ear while she scolded him for drinking too much and left. Not much later Ravel decided to leave too as she achieved her goal of making Issei try her cinnamon apple pie, which Issei described as amazing, much to her joy. They were having fun and drinking until Issei had what he thought was a great idea. He grabbed Kiba by his wrist and started to drag him out of the living room. "Hey Issei, what are yo?" Kiba tried to ask him what he was doing but got silenced by him. "Shush, I want to propose to the girls so I need your help to finish our project," said Issei between hiccups as he wobbled towards the exit with Kiba behind. "But aren't you too drunk?" asked Kiba nervously. "Nah, I'll be fine," said Issei as he opened the door and walked outside with Kiba. "Hey Diedrich, you awake?" called out Issei to the mighty dragons of domination through a mental link. "What is it that you need, partner?" asked Diedrich with a tired voice that indicated that he was asleep. "Can you maybe somehow make me UN drunk?" asked Issei. After a moment of silence, Diedrich responded tiredly. "Sure, but it will get really hot?" asked a dumbfounded Issei. He didn't get an explanation from Diedrich but rather a demonstration. Issei started to sweat a lot as his body temperature rose significantly. He started to pant as the temperature rose and burned out all of the alcohol within his body, and after 5 minutes Issei was good as new but sweaty. "Thanks, pal," thanked Issei as he was now sober. "No problem," replied Diedrich as he fell asleep.
"Kiba, can you help me out here?" asked Issei as he pointed at his sweaty clothes.
"Sure," replied Kiba with a chuckle as he summoned a light blue sword. He slashed at the air with the sword and a small wave of water hit Issei. It was stronger than what Issei expected as he was knocked down to the ground. "Sorry," apologized Kiba as he offered his hand. Issei grabbed his hand and Kiba helped him stand up. He then summoned a different sword that emitted small flames from the edges. "Don't burn me," said Issei. Kiba nodded and did the same as last time but with much less force and a weak flame just enough to vaporize the water from the clothes. "Thank you. Now wait a sec, I need to make a call," said Issei as he took out a phone from his pocket and luckily was still working after what it just went through. He started to call someone as Kiba just watched, and not long after Issei's call was answered. "Yo kiddo, what ya gonna tell me?" answered a male voice. "Yo Azazel, still up I see, good, look I want to finish our little project tonight as fast as possible please," said Issei hastily.
"You mean the rings? I mean, if it's so important to finish them tonight, who am I to not help my buddy out?" said Azazel.
"Thank you, Azazel, I promise to repay you somehow someday," said Issei with a voice full of excitement. "Sure, a bottle or two of sake and a small trip to a strip club will be fine as payment," said Azazel with a chuckle. "Sure, see you at Grigory," replied Issei as he hung up. "We have a green light," said Issei with a thumbs up and a goofy smile. "Yeah, I kind of heard all of it including the payment," said Kiba with a light chuckle. "Don't tell anyone about it, and can you teleport us to Grigory?" said Issei with a stern stare. "Sure, let's go," said Kiba as he created a crimson teleportation magic circle beneath his feet with Gremory ruins. Issei stepped into the circle and they were gone in a crimson flash. In a dark room, a crimson flash lit up the whole room for a moment that looked like science research or crafting and building lab. Soon the lights turned on and a tall man who appeared to be in his 20s with an average build, black hair, golden bangs and a black goatee slowly walked into the room with a long yawn. "So you are already here, good, let's get started," as it sounded urgent in the phone call, said Azazel as he walked towards the duo. "Yeah, let us not waste any more time than needed," said Issei all hyped up. Azazel prepared some tools and took out a wooden box which contained unfinished rings for Rias, Akeno, Asia, Kaneko, Zenobia and Irina, though Irina will get hers when she comes back. Issei brought materials like gems and diamonds out of a safe. Like that, the trio spent at least 4 hours finishing the rings. Issei poured his whole heart and soul into them to make them perfect for the girls.
Azazel was already asleep in his chair and Kiba almost fell asleep too, if not for Issei who closed the wooden box with the rings.
"Well Kiba, thank you for your assistance once again and I will repay you too in some kind of way," said Issei with a tired smile. "Sure, but not the same way as Azazel," said Kiba with a tired chuckle. "Okay, but you at least need to find a girlfriend," said Issei. "Sure, someday," replied Kiba as he stood up from his chair and stretched his limbs. "Alright, take this box and let's do like we practiced those other times," said Issei as he gave Kiba the box. Kiba
once again created a teleportation magic circle and teleported both of them back to the mansion with the same crimson flash.
"Good luck kiddo," whispered Azazel with his eyes closed as he fell asleep for real this time. Issei and Kiba arrived at the mansion's doorstep. "Well, time to go in," said Issei, but he sounded completely different. Just a moment ago he was excited and looking forward to it with confidence.
Now he sounded nervous. Don't worry, Issei, no need to be nervous, remember that you have mine, Azazel's and Drake's support right at this moment, so nothing can go wrong, said Kiba with a kind smile as he held the wooden box.
That's right, partner, don't be a chicken and enter like a fearless dragon, roared Diedrich confidently. Issei smiled after hearing that they will support him and nothing will go wrong. It put his mind at ease. He took a deep breath and opened the door. They saw that the lights in the living room were still on but no noise was heard. Issei and Kiba thought that maybe they fell asleep as they did take 4 hours at the Grigori, but Diedrich had a bad feeling already.
They entered the living room and much to their surprise they saw only a passed-out Rossweiss on the ground with a bunch of empty bottles laying around the room. Issei and Kiba chuckled before Issei picked her up and placed her gently on the sofa. Maybe they're upstairs, whispered Issei as he looked at Kiba. Kiba just nodded and they went to the elevator. They got to the 3rd floor and silently walked towards Issei's bedroom. Everything went okay until they heard something really disturbing that froze both men and made Diedrich even more anxious. "Uye Issei," a moan of Akeno filled the corridor. Issei looked at Kiba to see if what he heard was a hallucination, but his expression told everything. Without a word, Issei decided to move on, but Diedrich spoke through the mental link. "Partner, I think that's a bad idea. We need to fall back. I have a bad feeling about this," warned the mighty dragon. What do you mean? You just told me to enter like a fearless dragon and now fall back," replied Issei as he didn't stop walking. Diedrich didn't utter anything back as it was true, but he still didn't want Issei to continue. The closer they got, the louder the moans got. Kiba noticed how Issei started to tremble, so he decided that they should stop. He grabbed Issei's wrist, but when Issei glared at him with now bone-chilling red eyes instead of gentle and soft brown ones, made Kiba release Issei and just continue walking. Soon enough the duo were standing in front of Issei's bedroom, from where all of those moans came from. Issei reached out to the door handle with a trembling hand and held his breath as well as prayed. Even if he was a devil, he still prayed that it was just a prank or the girls just masturbated thinking about him. But the bed's intense screeching made it look otherwise. As soon as the door was opened by Issei, a strong smell of sex filled their nostrils. The room itself was dark, but both Kiba and Issei saw everything in the dark because devils had a night vision sight. What both men saw shocked them to their very cores. Kiba looked at Issei and saw him stop breathing and his red eyes glow more intensely. It reminded him of the time when Issei activated the Juggernaut drive for the first time. Kiba then looked back to the horrid scene that was Akeno being pounded by Riza while the other girls and 2 men were passed out cold from alcohol and all the fun they had. Kiba then noticed that Asia's nether regions seemed to be gushing out, the white stuff, while the other girls were clean because they used protection, and seems like Issei noticed that too as he started to breathe unevenly. "Yes, Issei. You were so good at this," suddenly moaned Akeno with an expression that screamed pleasure as Riza sped up. It seemed that the bed begged for help as it barely was standing. "The girls are so drunk that they somehow managed to mistake Issei for them," thought Kiba with such fury. He couldn't believe that his master and savior who he looked up to so much was doing such things behind Issei's back, his brother's back who he looked up to even more. Kiba wanted to summon his sword of betrayer and slash the heads of the 3 men. But before he could do that, Issei started to back away slowly before sprinting out of the house down the stairs. Kiba didn't even get the chance to stop him as he just disappeared. "You morons! What are you doing?" shouted Kiba at the disaster that was in front of him. But they were so drunk that they didn't even hear him and continued their fun. Kiba saw that there was no use, so he contacted Grafia. "Lord Sirex needs to get here as fast as he can. We have a huge problem. Please get here quickly to the hyoudou household. The town is in danger," said Kiba with an anxious voice as he feared for the worst. "We're coming," replied a feminine yet serious voice. 5 minutes later the bed screeching and Akeno's moans were silenced, and a few more minutes later a silver magic circle appeared next to Kiba, who was leaning against the wall next to the door where the hideous scene was last seen. "What's the matter, Knight of Rias?" asked Sirex, who stood in front of Kiba with his wife and Queen Grafia, who was wearing her usual maid uniform. "Sigh, just look inside this room and you'll see how your dear sister messed up this time," said Kiba with a disappointed sigh as he pointed at the door next to him. Sirex got a bad feeling when the night of his sister said those words. He looked at Grafia, who nodded and walked in front of the door before opening it. As soon as she opened the door she let out a shocked gasp and covered her mouth with both of her hands from both shock and smell. Sirex rushed in right behind her and he saw Rias and half of her peerage naked together in bed with Cyrog, Riza, and Saji. Sirex became furious as he released his aura and woke up all of the filth as the mansion started to shake. Everyone shot up from the bed and the first thing they saw were Grafia's and Sirex's glowing blue and red eyes that were full of anger and disappointment. "B brother," stuttered Rias out of fear and confusion as she saw his angry eyes. "B brother, what's going on? What are you doing here?" asked Rias, still not processing what was going on and not noticing the 3 men who were at the bed's side shivering from fear, regret, and disappointment in themselves. "No Rias, it's Emmy who wants to know what is going on here and what were you doing with them," said Sirex with controlled anger as he pointed at the 3 men who flinched. Rias and the girls looked at the three naked men and then recalled the moments of what happened not too long ago. The memories were hazy and blurry, but they understood what happened. And no, this can't be real, no. It can't be, shouted Rias with a horrified expression as the girls behind her started to cry and sob. But it's real and you fucked up big time here, said Kiba with disgust, who was standing in the doorway with his arms crossed. Where is Eyes? Asked Akino with a shaky voice. He ran away after we saw you, Akino, enjoy Riza, oh. And by the way, said Kiba calmly before leaning behind the door and grabbing a wooden box. He threw the box and let the rings fall out of it on the ground. The rings scattered on the floor as everyone let out a gasp. Kiba took one ring from the floor that had a golden orange gem. That ring was Irina's. Since she wasn't here, Kiba decided to give it back to Issei, as at least one girl was faithful. A week ago Issei asked me to cover for him with devil work so he could make these rings for you. Every early morning he asked me to help him practice his proposal speech so that he wouldn't disappoint any of you. He was really looking forward to this moment. He put so much thought and effort into this one single moment, but you just. I can't believe how messed up you are, said Kiba before he turned to look at Sirex. My lord, Issei ran out of the mansion and I believe that the town is in danger because Issei can't control his emotions at the moment, so we need to find him as fast as we can, said Kiba with utmost seriousness. Yes, Grafia, contact Sona and let her dispatch her peerage and help Rias's night search for Issei, ordered Sirex. Grafia and Kiba nodded before he ran out of the room and Grafia contacted Sona. Brother, we will help too, said Rias with a weak voice. No, you and your present peerage will go to the Gremory mansion and wait for me there while the three scums better get out of my sight, said Sirex sternly before Grafia created a magic teleportation circle beneath her feet. The three men teleported with their own magic circles while Grafia teleported Rias and her peerage to the Gremory mansion before coming back to Sirex. Sigh, why did any of this happen? It was supposed to be just a small celebration party, but now everything is ruined, said Sirex as he rubbed his forehead. Grafia walked up to him and placed her hand on his hand. Not now, dear, we have a huge problem at hand, later you can rant all you want, said Grafia with a sweet and soft voice. Sirex took her hand before kissing it. Okay, dear, let's G. Before he could finish, a loud roar followed by a huge amount of dominating aura washed over the town. Damn it, said Sirex as he and his queen flew with their devil wings or the windows towards the source of the roar. To be continued.